offshore and community operating in a fiscally constrained environment. So government and department are expected to look for access, for example, Val SEZ, the industrial parks, that is a work. Would like some support and more information on how can you provide SME support. Structural transformation of the economy, that is of course the work that has to do with, has already shared that the department will also be unpicking some of the tenets that inform. We might struggle to get the rest of the township main economy. So there has to be specific strategy able to access opportunities that would typically be accessed by those areas, 8 areas of strategic focus. Now, of course, this is such a very massive profile. Now, the Department Gambling Board, which is responsible for regulating and overseeing the gambling industry, we have as one of the agencies the Gauteng Enterprising Automotive Manufacturing Investment. So the point that I'm trying to make here, I'm not going to go into detail in terms of the performance or the department was chasing 13 targets during this slide perhaps was chasing 13 targets during this slide perhaps I might have to spend a little bit of time on it. So these are the specific that is focus on improving the ease of doing business and increasing procurement from youth. We have a target of 15% that every time we procure, every quarter that we procure, 15% of that must go to youth. The department was able to overachieve that target by 39%. Preferential procurement for women-owned businesses, the target is 40%. The department is legislated to ensure that 40% of our procurement goes to women-owned enterprises. We overachieved that target by 63%, and we also were able to achieve a clean audit. Clean audit is important. It's not, HOD usually says it's a necessary but not a sufficient condition for the department, which means that it just says that all the basics are in place so that we can be able to do bigger things. The last 2 bullet points on the 6 targets that I'm presenting, the ones on the yellow, we did not achieve those. And it's important that as a department, we come to this platform and share that so that the community, as part of the feedback, as part of the questions and inputs that you'll be making, we can be able to strengthen our processes. So these are goods and services that we must procure from the townships. So the target that was set, that was announced during the State of the Province address was 60%. The department was not able to achieve that. We achieved 12.63%. And that has to do with some of the challenges, especially around compliance on businesses in our areas, in our townships, that you would be responding to an RFQ, but there's a tax clearance is not included, or your tax certificate has expired. So those are some of the issues that we grapple with. That's why the department, through various instruments like Ondisishishini Lakho, like a GEP Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, we are on the drive to support small businesses to ensure that they comply with the requirements so that they can increase their chances of being appointed to the work that the department would be advertising for procurement. Then the 2 targets, the other 2 targets, set of targets that we were chasing have to do with ensuring that our SMMEs are compliant with consumer legislation. Now, those that perhaps might not know, there's something called, there's an act called Consumer Protection Act, and it's important that as traders, as SMMEs, we comply with that. So 100 of SMMEs were trained to ensure that they are compliant with that law. But also the Gauteng the Economic Development Department has a Consumer Affairs Court. So that's when, for example, let's say in your trading or you bought something and you entered into a contract and something that you are not happy with, something in that particular contract, or you bought a good, you bought a fridge, and you get home, you try to connect it, you find that it was defective. So you can approach the Consumer Affairs Court in the department so that assist you with resolving that particular issue. If, of course, there are still issues that need to be ironed out between yourself as well as the retailer, it can be adjudicated to at a Consumer Affairs Court, and the order would be issued, which is enforceable. And then the one indicator had to do with raising the revenue. So the department has a unit called Gauteng Liquor Board. Now, this is a unit that is responsible for regulating alcohol industry in the province. So through the liquor regulatory processes, we are able also to raise revenue. So the target was 25, the department was able to collect over 32 million. Then the last set of indicators quickly, Chair, they have to do with the work that we must execute in providing oversight to our entities, the agencies that I've just shared, the GEP, the GGDA, TASES and the likes. So how do we provide oversight? We check if they are able to spend their budget that has been allocated to them. We check if they are able to meet the targets that they have set themselves. We also check if for assurance providers or AGSA, maybe they've made some recommendations. We check whether they are compliant. We check whether they are implementing those particular recommendations. This is just an overall in terms of how then the agencies and the group has performed. I've already said the department was able to achieve 85%. GGDA, they will come and share, they achieve 79%, GEP 93%, GGP 80%, and GTA was able to achieve all their targets at 100%, and TASES at 71%. So this is just some of the interventions that we are putting in place to make sure that those two indicators that I've highlighted earlier that we didn't meet, we are able to achieve in Q3 as well as Q4 and moving forward. Chair, this slide is just all the provincial procurement targets of the department, from youth, from women, from people with disability. Maybe perhaps the focus on the slide should be on people with disability. So the department has not been meeting that particular target. It's just that it's not on the APP. That's why it didn't affect us. So the department only achieved 1% against the national target of 5%, against the provincial target of 7%. And yes, there are strategies that the department is beginning to implement to try and change that picture. But I'll be honest, it is coming very, very slow. But we are hoping that as we are meeting with, we'll be able to change that complexion. Because this is the work that the department was able to implement in the area of Ekurhuleni and surrounding areas. Now, department, it's part of the group. So it's a group. So the department is a center, provides leadership, provides policy development, and then the entities are responsible for execution. Now, the department, through its business units, was able to capacitate the in the region. You would remember that there's an act that establishes cooperatives and regulates cooperatives called Cooperatives Amendment Act. If you want it to be formalized, you have to make sure that you subscribe to the department. Through our inclusive economy business unit was able to capacitate that they are compliant with the Cooperatives Amendment Act. But also still within the cooperatives, there were 50 beneficiaries that implemented through the CFI governance as well as regulatory compliance. The unit Consumer Affairs, we recruited initially it was 20 consumer champions in the area of Ekurhuleni. Opportunities, so 10 has already moved, has left the program, but is a team with that assist in activation of consumer education and outreach. Indicated that we have a unit called Gauteng Liquor Board, which is responsible for regulating alcohol sector or industry. 58 liquor licenses were issued during the period April to date, October 2025, and this is just a breakdown of the type of were issued as well as places where these licenses were issued. The department is on the street, ensuring visibility, but also ensuring that there's the work basically that we do. In fact, on the 25th steps and the workshop focused the liquor traders compliance to make sure that we comply with the liquor regulation. So there are also liquor wardens that are deployed in Ekurhuleni, and ensuring that they check if the outlets are compliant, and issues such as outlets being found to be selling alcohol to people under the age of 18 years, outlets operating outside their allowable or noise level. Those were the issues that come out, and sanctions were given to those for the department. So for Gauteng Liquor Board, they will be in Davidton during the month of November, around the transformation charter, because the department is trying to adopt. So the idea here is that we want to get more players in the area, in the sector of in the liquor sector, in terms of other aspects, not just alcohol, for example, or having a shipping, but how can you also be involved in other aspects of this particular industry? Because we're not just people that must just sell alcohol. There are people that this would be also be part of the awareness session. This would be also be part of the opportunity for the department to share what this charter entails. So the details would be shared in that particular session. We are also going to be in December, part of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence as part of the Gauteng Liquor Board. We'll also be recruiting new cohort of liquor wardens. So I've explained earlier to say that the liquor wardens play a very important role in terms of inspections, making sure compliant. Consumer Affairs in 2026, that is, and by the way, 2026 is around the corner. We would be also be recruiting consumer champions in that area. TIDA, Inclusive Economy, through the Township Economic Development Act, will be implementing. My colleague Zweli is here. I'm sure later he'll be able to share some of the details and give a high-level overview of what the Township Economic Development Act entails, because there are opportunities in terms of financial and non-financial support, but also for skills development. Areas like installation, repair, maintenance, township retail enterprises, and supply. So just to say, because this would be my last slide, just to say, and just for emphasis, HOD and Chairperson, these sessions become very important for us. Yes, we are here to present the work that we have done as a department, as agencies in Q2, but it becomes a very important feedback for the department so that we can improve on that the department was not able to meet the target on goods and services, goods and services that we. So I'm sure there are innovative solutions that will be coming from community who are struggling to meet the target. I'm sure the community has innovative solutions. Department can be able to meet that particular target as we are moving towards Q3 as well as Q4. Hand over to the HOD. I'm sure then the. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ndaba, for the presentation. Gauteng Liquor Board. Gauteng Liquor Board is our trading entity to do the presentation. I'm not sure whether you will look at that. Let's go to the Gauteng Gambling Board.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members, HOD, colleagues, and the community of Ekurhuleni. My name is Eunice Lottereng. I'm representing the Gauteng Gambling Board. Gambling in the province. In us regulating gambling, we have to make sure that we only manage to, which we have achieved 100%. Clean, which we have achieved 100%. Clean, we've achieved clean audit. Clean, we've achieved clean audit. The percentage of gambling licenses applications received, so that the application process is within the received, so that the application process is within the 120 days. When we license, we also have to license the 45 days. We've done that. Percentage of gambling equipment applications. So this one means you must have checked them to see that there is no manipulation. Percent against 90. Percentage of licensees or non-compliance incidences investigated. So this one means where the licensees are not also have auditors that check compliances. So these must be investigated and reported. There will also be disputes between you as a punter. You are welcome to report it to the Gauteng Gambling Board of the things that we do to protect members of the community. We also conduct raids with law enforcement agencies to close down on illegal gambling operators. So this is one of the targets that we did not achieve. Quarterly, we aim to achieve 125. We aim to conduct 125 raids, but for Q2, we only managed to conduct 124, short of one. So we were not able to achieve that one. It's one of the things, again, that we are doing to ensure that we protect members of the community against the social ills of gambling. We also have to conduct responsible and illegal gambling awareness programs. again, one of the things that we have to do to ensure that members of the public, members of communities are aware of the social ills of gambling. If there is a problem at home, you are able to self-exclude yourself, or as a third party, you are also able to make sure that your mother, your father, a member of your family is excluded as well. So there is a process that is allowed by the Gauteng Gambling Act for you to exclude yourself or members of your community, of your family. So on these awareness campaigns, we were able to conduct 7. So for the year, we conducted 35, but for the Q2, we were able to conduct 7. We conducted 8, so we overachieved that one. So the targets that I said, I've already explained that on the illegal gambling, we could not raid 125 as projected. We only raided 125. This is due to human capacity constraints. We also have a tender that transports for transportation of illegal gambling equipment. We did not have it. It was finalized in Q2. And the mitigation is that additional resources will be deployed to the unit to ensure that we achieve 500 targets by end of financial year. The work that was undertaken by the GGB, we are saying employment is being created by the establishments that are within the Ekurhuleni region. We have a casino, which is the Emperor's Palace, 36 bookmakers, 2 bingos, and 130 limited payout machines. For Q2, those are the establishments where we conducted our awareness campaigns. They were around Katlehong, the Back to School campaign in Tembisa, followed by the Fumana Secondary School. We also had LPM licenses where we conducted our responsible gambling campaign. We also conducted them in Ivory Park at the informal settlement. Another one in Springs for the LPM. Responsible gambling again in Windmill Park, Ratanda, Katlehong, Davidton, Germiston, Mahlareng Stadium, and Sontonga. All these are targeted at different groups, some for senior citizens, some for school children, for them to know the social ills of gambling and where you can go, because we have partnered with the South African Responsible Gambling Foundation, where you can get assistance. So you can be referred to these establishments if there is problem gambling for somebody that you know or for yourself. On the socio-economic development projects that we had, we were able to support the construction of a netball court at Mampudu Primary School in Vosloorus and support the refurbishment of the netball and soccer field at Kuzimisela Primary School in Davidton. That's all from the Gambling Board. Thank you very much, Chair.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I think it would be important for me to briefly mention that we are at a point where as Gauteng provincial government, we are considering amending the bill to also take into account issues of online gambling, to make sure that it's well regulated, but to also make sure that at the same time we encourage responsible gambling in this regard. So I'm sure at the appropriate point, the public will be engaged in this regard. I'm going to ask our colleague from Gauteng Tourism Authority to give you a presentation. Through you, Chair. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members, HOD, and members of the community and colleagues. My name is Mohammed Chawan. I am going to be representing the Gauteng Tourism Authority on this morning. So the Gauteng Tourism Authority, just very briefly, we operate under 4 programs, and that is our strategic support, our destination marketing and bidding and hosting, and destination management and development. And I'll bring it closer to home to the community and explain how these initiatives have taken place in the city of Ekurhuleni this year. So just quickly for record purposes, in terms of our performance for Q2, we had 5 targets that we needed to report on, and we achieved 5 out of those 5 targets. So 1 was in strategic support, 1 was in bidding and hosting, and the other 3 was in destination management and development. So I'm going to go straight through to what we have been doing in the city of Ekurhuleni over the past, over this financial period. So firstly, under the events and support banner, we hosted together, we gave support to host the 7th Africa Youth in Tourism Innovation Summit. So that took place at the Midrand Conference Center from the 24th to the 27th of June this year. We also provided support to the Kota Festival 2025 that was held at the Willowmore Cricket Ground in Benoni. Coming up is the event support for the New Year's Day garden event with a partnership with Exclusive White Lifestyle. This will enhance some destination visibility and also give events for those who are going to be in the area on New Year's Day, and that will be at the Birchwood Hotel. We have also provided support for the Women's Working Group G20 conference that's been held at the Radisson in Ekurhuleni. In terms of now SMMEs, which is very important to us, we've given market access to 27 SMMEs from the Ekurhuleni region, and we gave them over Q1 and Q2, we gave them, or we facilitated their participation at the following events. So there's WTM that was held in Cape Town, the Rand Show, Africa's Travel Indaba, the Glamping Expo, as well as what I had just mentioned just now, the Africa Youth in Tourism Summit, as well as the Basha Uhuru event. In terms of what trainings and skills development has the GTA facilitated in Ekurhuleni? So there's 3 broad areas if we look at it. Firstly, there was reception skills training where 25 students have benefited over 2 training dates, which was the 14th to the 16th of October and the 11th to the 13th of November. We've also provided training for professional conference organizers, so those who want to learn on how to organize conferences. So that's training that's going to take place in December, and there will be 2 beneficiaries from this region. And then lastly, tour operators, so training tour operators from this region. That's also coming up, where there will be 2 beneficiaries from this region that will get trained, and that will be facilitated by the Gauteng Tourism Authority. So that very briefly is in terms of what the GTA has done in the city of Ekurhuleni. Oh, there's one more, sorry, I missed this one. This one here deals with signage. So if you know all those brown signs that you see that direct people, so we will be installing those double-sided brown tourism signage. Specifically in Ekurhuleni, there's 5 areas that was identified, which was the Barracks Historical Significance, the Tami Mnyeli Heroes Acre, the Sinatemba Ecotourism Theme Park, as well as the Moses Lekwa Arts Center and Craft Market. So in those 5 areas, 5 tourism sites in the city of Ekurhuleni, there will be new signages put up by the end of March 2026. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohamed. GTA, they're actually doing a great job in terms of making sure that as Gauteng province, we get as many tourists as possible to the province. You are probably aware that we are currently in the process of hosting G20. So this is part of their work to make sure that they bring as many tourists as possible to the province to ensure that we're able to create more jobs and grow the economy. So our next presentation will be done by Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. They are our key entity to deal with issues of small businesses, both in terms of financial support as well as business development.
General manager responsible for strategy and monitoring. So we offer them what we call it contracts finance, which is the, supporting you with business planning, and also putting money by a small business. But your business must not suffer because you do not have all the skills in the Ekurhuleni in the implementation of stock and equipment. And also we assisted some of the informal traders as well to acquire. Went to 5 SMMEs in the Brakpan, Kempton Park with business development support covering you, Tembisa Thokoza, Tsakane, to the total value of 1.4 million. Then also again, we've also assisted in this in this region. Also the previous slide, it was grant support for equipment and stock, the 1.4 million. Then the second slide is for the business development support, that is the 1.9 million. Again, we supported 148 township-based businesses within this region, and we covered other townships, the Binoni, Buhle Park, Davidton, Duduza, Katlehong, Kwatema, Leon Day, Springs, Ramaphosa, Tembisa, Thokoza, Tsakane, Phosphorus, and Wattville. So we've covered quite a wide township areas, and we hopefully, if there are areas that we haven't covered, then we're still coming if the applications have been submitted. Also, we are also not leaving them outside the informal traders. We do support the informal traders. This quarter we supported 71 informal traders in the townships for them assisted to purchase them stock and equipment to the value of 354,000 rand. Again, we covered various townships in Davidton, Duduza, Etwata, Katlehong, Kwatema, Palm Ridge, Reha Park, Tembisa, Thokoza, Tsakane, Phosphorus, and Wattville. And also, we just want to share some few success stories that we've picked to share for this region. And then the first one will be the Delightful Pastries, which is a business that is making a bakery business that is making pastries that had challenges and approached GEP because they wanted to produce products that qualify to food management standards, and also their challenges with branding of their products and marketing, and also the equipment. They didn't have inadequate equipment to produce their products. And GEP assisted with a generator because their business was challenged because of power outages that they were experiencing from time to time. And also they were supported with an integrated food management and the marketing tools. And the outcome of that support, the business really grew and added a new range of products as well in the financial year. And also larger premises in order for them to be able to attract as employed 2 casual workers and other 2 permanent employees. Second one is also in Davidton. This one that was supported by the Gauteng and Enterprise grant support for them to be able to buy stock so that they can expand from its customer base. And that support from GEP enabled the business to grow, and they grew their turnover by realized an increase, 100% increase in its turnover. And then now another outcome and employed additional 2 permanent staff. And because they were they can formalize their businesses. Because the GEP now is assisting this business with comply and be able to graduate to the next level of support. Which they are producing they are manufacturing the juices. The outcome that they've realized in this business, they were managed to expand out after the support that they've provided by GEP. They managed to expand their businesses to supply to spas in Soweto. Then another one, I think, is also this one is also in Katlehong. This success story. This one, they are manufacturing. They are in the cosmeceutical sector. They are manufacturing body care products and car air fresheners. So this business approached GEP because they wanted to grow and expand its market base, and GEP assisted them with the quality management system, also with packaging of their and labeling of their product, and with the marketing plan as well. This business was assisted, and as a result of the outcome of this assistance from GEP, some improvements were noted, like the monthly revenue increased by 30%. But another greater milestone, the business has acquired other interests from the Ekurhuleni Department of Health to supply its hand and body lotion product to the use by the nursing staff in the public and in the restroom and in the public restrooms. I think the last one is the Brakpan as well, is the business that is in poultry farming and agriculture, that was supported by the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. They were provided with the grant support for the cooperative support grant, and they also were assisted with marketing tools for them to be able to market and grow the business. And as a result of that, the business attracted more customers, and it grew, its turnover grew by 63% and created 2 additional jobs. I think this slide is just showing our work that we're doing as GEP to try and expose the work that the entity is doing to the target group, which are the SMMEs in the Gauteng province. So we had numerous sessions that we've had throughout the province. One of to mark is on the 18th of September, We have a session where we're empowering SMMEs with the support that we provide at GEP. We also collaborated with the University of Johannesburg as well to ensure that we are also reaching the student entrepreneurs that are at the university so that they cannot necessarily rely on getting job, but also see opportunities that they can actually commercialize their skills and knowledge and become job creators themselves instead of looking for jobs. Then we also in Ward 46 as well, we participated in the Career Expo, and we exposed GEP services to youth that were part of that event. And also at REMSEP Convention Center as well, we were there as well. We participated in the Entrepreneurship Award, and we marketed GEP services. And also we are reaching out as well in the other small communities through churches as well. We also partnered with the Methodist Church as well in August, and we presented our GEP offering to the community. So the list goes on. I think that just shows that we do take opportunities to reach out to each and every community besides our presence online in terms of our website, but we do take on engagement to ensure that we expose the support that GEP offers to SMMEs. I will end there, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Highly appreciated. It's the first time that we get a bit of hands being clapped, so it means that you guys are happy. But on a serious note, small enterprises are actually at the core of our work. We believe that is to make sure that we have as many as possible people who are entrepreneurs, people who can produce, sell to the rest of the world. As we try to open borders in terms of those of you who have got interest in business, who at heart, would like to encourage you. So the second last presentation will be to attract investment to the province, to make sure that we have both domestic, we will not be importing. Some of you here can produce toothpicks in this province and export to the Itumeleng to give you a presentation. Is also going to cover some of the sub-entities.
Thank you, HOD. Good morning, Chair. Mohorosi. I'll be speaking on behalf of the Gauteng Growth and Development. Short comprises 5 companies. Of the other 4, we call them subsidiary companies. So this is the picture of we having the holdings company located in the city center of Johannesburg. We also Constitution Hill, which is the home of the Constitutional Court. Constitution Court, we call it Constitutional in Roslyn. Roslyn is in the north of Tshwane. We're also having the Innovation Hub, Linwood Road off the N1, still in the city of Tshwane. The GIDZ, in other words, not far from here, as it were just outside the international airport, is what is representing and anchoring the GGDA's press. GIDZ does, and what is on offer that can still also has got presence in the Eastern Corridor through the EKASI labs. We'll get into what those are. And we are having 2, one in Tembisa and the saving to-dos as well. But just to get started, the holdings company based in the city of Joburg for three things in the main. One being investment facilitation. So we attract export facilitation. The HOD did allude that the thought in enterprise development ultimately is to ensure that we manufacture, not just consume, we manufacture products that can be exported, and that will allow us to earn foreign exchange, and in return, over and above employing people and growing the economy, we also earn foreign currency. We have in the quarter managed to, at least we met the target that we had planned for, but also cumulatively or companies that are able to export with opportunity abroad. That is at the level of the holdings company. The AIDC, the automotive industry, and it does that through ways. There is an aspect of skills development targeting SMMEs in the auto sector. There are already employed by component manufacturers, makers. We also training company manufacturing capabilities. Those targets we have met. We also measure ourselves in the auto sector by the revenues that are generated. We have two hubs, one located at the Ford plant, the other in the Nissan plant, and the companies that we are incubating in those areas, Roslyn and Silverton, made the revenue targets that we have. There's also the township automotive hubs, unfortunately not in this area. We're having one in the West Rand, Chamdo, the other in Winterfeld, and the revenues generated by those SMMEs, the target was met. The Constitution Hill, like I said, is the home for the Constitutional Court. Yes, Constitutional Court. But in that side, we offering diverse services. Mainly, we promoting heritage and constitutionalism, but we also, pardon me, assisting companies in the creative industry space. So if there are people in the creative arts and manufacturing in that space of creatives, we are hosting through the studios that we are having there, and we are continually capacitating SMMEs in that space. Also hosting visitors locally and from abroad to visiting the site center to make sure that it's self-sufficient at some point in the future and does not rely on the state. Second phase, the 29 hectares, we are on track currently at 33%. Have your company enrolled to benefit from opportunities. Also opportunity for interns, and mainly the interns that we're looking at are
I think it's for the... It's not right. But why is it...
Yes. Forgive me for that. I was still at the GIDZ and it's still on. I'm just needing help.
Let's just double check. Okay, sorry. Okay.
My apologies again. We do have which is we do have which is by a domestic company. Then there's also we have assisted to a domestic company. Then there's also we have assisted to export broadly to SADC specifically broadly to SADC specifically to export. I have made mention in to export. I have made mention in passing shortfall in digital skills provision from the 1st October to now November. Is in the to now November. Is in the Tsakani Nigel third cohort. The Tsakani Nigel third cohort in the same site in January 19th to February. It's about a 4-week program that we'll be offering. It's about a 4-week program that we'll be offering in April. That was at the Tsakani site, and this was in April. That was at the Tsakani site. And this was IT as one of the success stories for the GGDA, at least in the last 5 years, of the magnitude and what it is that the state is 5 years of the magnitude and what it is that the state is capable of. And I did say that it's just across from here. And I did say that it's just across from here. It's not far from. Maybe let me go to this picture. Maybe let me go to this picture. I hope you can see it at the back. So at the bottom, jewelry manufacturing, and we'll get into what the jewelry manufacturing space entails.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you just be quiet while the speaker committee add with the department in a moment. They are almost done with their presentations. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So the 29 hectares, just above the smaller yellow 29 hectares, will be focusing in electronics, pharmaceuticals, pharmaceutical equipment. We are, like I reported, still busy with the bulk installation. So for the 29 hectares, it's quite a sizable place for us to do earth moving, install water, bulk, electricity, and the like, and we're hoping to finish that work only sometime in 2027. So we still have a long way to go. Then when we go to the right, upper right there, we have what we call the Springs Precinct, not a sizable size, about 14 hectares, so it's not big. And we'll be showing another picture that shows that the company that we're working with is in the platinum group metals, Impala specifically, to name the company, that has availed the land, and we're looking at manufacturing fuel cells and related products. That's when we go on board, insofar as that is concerned. So I've summarized the slide of the 3 sides. Maybe I should also make mention that it's not on this picture, though. Of late, there has been along the N3 just outside Vosloorus and those other areas, mention of the logistics hub. We are also participant in that space of the logistics hub in the southeast. Along the N3, just outside of Vosloorus, and we call that the Tambo Springs Precinct. That's the 4th site that we have. We're still negotiating with the municipality for land around 100 hectares or so. And the intention is obviously for that logistics hub to ease the traffic, the trucks in Durban and And here, that's the plan going forward. That's the fourth site we have. About 3 hectares big or so. So it's quite big. There's also the jewelry manufacturing. So of the 7.5, those that are into jewelry designs and the like. And the achievements for precinct 1 is that 1683 are currently employed through the operations in that precinct. There's 48 interns, 58 interns that actually benefited from the construction up to the operations currently. And medium enterprises that benefited are 200. Like I was saying, there are still opportunities available for the community to leverage off, given that we're not so far from there anyway. So this is the 29 hectares that I had mentioned, and this what it currently looks like. We are 33% into the job. We had estimated 18 months of land, and somewhere there should be waterlogged. That's what partly delayed the work over there, given the amount of rainfalls we had ongoing. And for that site, there's 180 kick in once we have built the top structure. 2 interns are currently being mentored those opportunities. The Springs precinct, like I said, it's still at early stages. We are working with the MOU is how we're going to be subdividing the 14 hectares. Mainly, like I mentioned, that is currently produced, and we're looking at beneficiating that. We can then begin the development, starting with bulk and then the top structures. Enterprise development efforts, like I mentioned, there are these opportunities just across. And this serves as a launchpad for emerging jewelers, metal concentrators that would then sort of anchor or hold your hand, not only through the jewelry excellence itself. Lastly, we are working with Gibbs. Gibbs is the business school. The program is aiming at 34 manufacturers and services based in Ekurhuleni to leverage off and benefit from such. So, Chair, these are the opportunities. I did make mention that the GGDA is present through the ECASI, mainly through the GIDZ, but there are possibilities from holdings for those that are export ready. There's also the Constitution Hill for those that are in the arts and creative industry. With that said, Chair, I thank you again. It's quite an opportune time to the government, at least in the form of the GGDA, spends the taxpayers.
It's an automotive zone. Yeah.
Good day, Chair. Committee, HOD and Badudiba Ekurleni. I am Special Economic Zone. We are based in the Silverton area in Tshwane. We are a company that is established in terms of the SEZ Act, having been established through GDET, the national government through the DTIC. Can we then move to the next slide? We have been given a mandate to ensure that we develop the economy within the province of Gauteng. As a automotive industry, we are currently housing the most advanced Ford facility in the world, Ford Everest. So those are the three shareholders, that's what Everest. So those are the three shareholders, that's where the money that is invested in us goes. The money from the landscape point of view, we have what we call phase 1 and phase 1A. Which are fully completed also in the zone, so that we also put into changing the landscape of the automotive sector as the special economic zone. This is all the facilities, and we're already operational. That is what we're able to achieve as the SEZ. 5.2 billion, the 4.2 billion, the Ford that is within the S country, and we create that is within the S country. And we created in that space about 5,500 jobs. 70% of those jobs, 500 jobs, 70% of those jobs coming outside the value chain. So the total contribution there, we're looking at just over 10,000 jobs, the SEZ. The jobs breakdown, 32% of the jobs that are created by the investors in the zone, its own fit because we struggle to get women to participate in the construction space, and we had ensuring that we create employment space, and that we manage that employment that we create, need for compliance, and we also build the employment that we create, need for compliance, and we also build them up. We do enterprise development for the enterprises that exist within the area where we exist, and there's just a picture of going to move and show our performance. We had 9 targets. We have a target of ensuring that we pay all our suppliers within 14 days. In Q2, we're able to, in the automotive sector, 400. We have achieved that target, and also we are struggling on construction, Our program was delayed. However, we have now in the news that Ford is delayed. However, we have now in the news that Ford is struggling, and they will be downsizing, and as a result of this. Then lastly, colleagues will be downsizing, and as a result of this. Then lastly, colleagues, is that we had set ourselves a target of 300 million in investment to attract 300 million in investment to attract.
Last presentation from the department and its agencies. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now going from the department and its agencies. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to go over to point of the meeting where you will
Thank you very much, Chair. Dumelang. Roving mic. Thank you very much, Chair. Dumelang. Roving mic. Please, please. I saw it. Firstly, I need to explain. Yeah, it will find me. With the department, there's an understanding of who are we. And unfortunately, we did not start off. Member Matshidiso Mfikwe, ke leloko la committee. Renale member Albert, ke chairperson ya committee ya rona. Renale member Matsibatela. He's a member of the committee. Matsibatela. He's a member of the committee. We have member, where did they go? Ngobe, member, where did they go? Ngobeni. So kaofela rona, re tswa ko diparting tseo, really represent. So it has. So really represent. So it has. So part of our work, video card. Part of our work, video kamkaka torch. That is what is disturbing me. So, kiskai tola koshwashwi, kausan or meet. Then kausan or meet. Then as a portfolio committee, we come with them to 9. In Eku come with them to 9. In Ekuruleni, where they did the in Ekuruleni, where they did the work. Because Rona, Ekuruleni, where they did the work. Because Rona, Harisebeti ka the work. Because Rona, Harisebeti ka the word. So you sebeti ka the word. So you can't say Ababerek and Nako the word. So you can't say Ababerek and Nako voting yank. So you can't say Ababerek and Nako voting yank.
Which we have documented.
Okay.
So if they can also...
Hey, I'm going to start with you because you have had your hand up long before we started. You are number 1 here, Papa. Here, Manes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
What they have achieved, how many licenses they have issued. So they have issued. So the challenge is spend legislative trade associations in Gauteng. 2, communication and engagement gaps. What they are doing. Communication and engagement gaps. What they are doing, these people, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They don't know what the license looks. What the license looks.
The business funding. I want to know, does the GDP only assist?
We're also facing challenges with SARS and concerning economic business. Also facing challenges with SARS and concerning economic business development and people, businesses, small businesses, or would I say entrepreneurs and people who wants to start and who's got the ability to start, but we lack funding.
Good. Most in our locations, the small businesses are owned by the foreigners.
Thank you. Government.
The project failed dismally. But now, apart from that, as a result, it got vandalized. Whatever they tried to put up, it got vandalized. So it's no longer operational. So now that trenches, it's become a swimming pool. Right next to that, a child from Tokyo, 7-year-old boy, he drowned in there. It is so painful. We visited that family. We were at the funeral. We were there until they ran away with the money. Please reinstate. Abandoned sites, they become death traps, and we can't afford to lose another child. I promise you guys they
That spoke. You didn't clap for them. Why Lina apartheid? Why? Mampele batho ba ko Ekurhuleni. When we toss, we don't clap. No. We clap for everybody and them because the liquor inspectors are not helping them. Yes. How? Kanjani? But thank you very much. Matshidiso Mfikwe and Matshidiso Mfikwe and Key. Ne? So give us, you could write it on a piece of paper. Then the team will follow up. Thank you very much. Number 6.
Direct this question to the HOD of the department, not to the MPLs, not to you. Maybe if you, the HOD, you speak with the MMC of Ekurhuleni for economic development, and or so how do we do in order for regular land so that they must have those container?
Yeah, protocol observe liquor board. I think Ubaba, they also gambled there. And I saw in the rat machine. So I'm not sure whether we are talking about the shop in Springs, where in the corner, it's a shop, but it's also a gambling. The lady who was sitting here, he said they did not achieve, she will explain. The last one.
To local level, I wish Ekurhuleni could industry, Ibo abaqashwayo, and apparently Ibo aba cheap. So even the if we were producing school uniforms ourselves, because we do have a capacity as communities. So how can legislation, economic development, and
all protocols observed. Igama amentionwa laphayana indawo nami engibuya kuyona. So ngiyanicomenda kakhulu nami as an SME with this time sifake i-effort kakhulu eqinisekiseni ukuthi people that in terms of economic infrastructure, as a member of assist the government to take over those spaces, is making sure ukuthi in terms of the economic side of things.
Ngiyacabanga township ongama-tech shop, but now compliance ifunwa kulabantu bama-tech shop, we don't know ukuthi lapha kulama mall la.
Before I can ask questions, that lady
Hang
said
on,
something, we can help her. We can help her.
Not on
please.
our platform.
Okay, sharp.
Okay,
someone who's running a business, and with that opens up, even this guy came just before the looting, my shop was looted. I used to have that Chinese guy came with that small machine. About if when somebody's looking for a liquor license, you just add an extra cost, and then you get students that are, Mrs. Masirizo, I think we spoke about, I'm an electrical engineer.
Okay.
I've employed artisans and general workers. I would come say, as an age, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how much I must lay them down, so that I can pay you. Which till today, they still call me and say, Mr. Mpela, can't we get this? And I will say to them, look, everywhere I go, got money. It's not a problem for them to fund. It's not a problem for them to make us grow.
We only have the ministry, alien sector, so it's clearly becoming an urgent need that we bring them. So, but please don't.
I'm the LET Ward Committee, Infrastructure. That was the criteria for all. That was the criteria for all the. As we go back, so that our people can go to their office. Go back, so that our people can go to their offices. Maybe tap into their spaces. Maybe tap into their space. With some SMMEs who ended up being construction mark, or maybe construction mark, or maybe valelo ngaphandle. So what's the criteria? Valelo ngaphandle. So what's the criteria of tapping into those jobs? We end up sisokola those jobs. We end up sisokola in order with this in order ukuthi sikhone ukuthi sithole those jobs mama in that space. Khone ukuthi sithole those jobs mama in that space. But I'm amazed. I mean, I have a lot of women who are SMMEs. I'm amazed. I mean, I have a lot of women who are SMMEs. Sites. But who are turned away. And you'll be told that, but who are turned away. And you'll be told that it goes to that issue Mr. Mkhorosi Tambo spoke. It goes to that issue Mr. Mkhorosi Tambo Springs. It's Efo Springs. It's Efo Sloras. And we've been running that thing at Sloras. And we've been running that thing at Tambo Springs. I think it's been 10 years or 15 years, because the first presentation at Tambo 10 years or 15 years, because the first presentation at Tambo Springs might call. The inland brings might call. The inland import, Yasefos Tambo Springs, we are bigger import, Yasefos Tambo Springs, we are bigger lead. But we were there as I lead. But we were there as SMMEs. What is Slangana, my SMMEs? What is Slangana, my SMMEs was for Slorasi, we last basic was for Slorasi, we last basic Yaliwa. People would want to work there, but Aliwa. People would want to work there, but to Tologut you can't work outside. And this Tologut you can't work outside. And this what is him. So mine, I think what is him. So mine, I think ilapo gulauma opportunities for those who are automotives, for those who are automotive, maybe how do they tap in? Maybe how do they tap into that space or be capacitated to that space or be capacitated so that bakhona ukuthi ba workshop abantu bethu like eFoslore or SARS ba workshop abantu bethu like eFoslore or SARS, how do you get your vet, or staff, or bese ukhona ukuthi uthole or staff, or bese ukhona ukuthi uthole opportunity.
Consumer Affairs. In fact, Consumer Affairs would be able to give you Consumer Affairs. In fact, Consumer Affairs would be able to give you direction to most of the commission. So that you are asking your questions the check about Nangwanes. So that you are asking your questions the check about Nangwanes. Oscar Talerata if you go there now. Okay, Talerata if you go there now. Okay. Okay.
I think you will do something regarding this question. Okay, it's problem. I think you will do something regarding this question. Okay, it's problem. It's a problem of collision. Business when you are in a it's a problem of collision. Business when you are in a paper industry. As a small business, you start small, but money. As a small business, you start small, but money. It's gonna be very difficult for you to compete there. So please, difficult for you to compete there. So please, agent, the agent, our children are asking, who is this Fosterers? Can you please do something? Children are asking, who is this Fosterers? Can you please do something? As a family. But at this point in time, as a family. But at this point in time, nothing has happened yet. So what are you going to do with the heritage of Fosterers? But then we don't know nothing about Fosterers. So please do something so that you can attract tourists.
I meet Leron. But this then you must ask these questions. If you don't have answers, then you must champion the If you can't get an answer to who is Foslo, then you must say, who are the activists that contributed to your liberation? Of Fosloras. Rebata who rename Fosloras because you have, then the municipality must help us go to the Heritage Council, not the tourism agent. And we'll take you to Fosloras. We don't know who's Fosloras, Mara, we will take you there. You would have things that you want the outside community to see. But get your councillors, because all municipalities are having a renaming policy. If you feel that your questions are not answered and your area fits the criteria renaming, champion that thing. We do not know, we know her, she came, she held the, we do not know, we know her, she came, she held the mic. She ran our meeting, the chair portfolio committee, only knowing that we raise the grave of the. Where are you coming from? What is that? Where are you coming from? What is that? What's about Vosloorus? Public meeting about Vosloorus. Public meeting, let's discuss what is Geluk style. Renewing your own, let's discuss what is Geluk style. Renewing your own society, your own society. It can play into even changing our own mindset. It can play into even changing our own mindset. The way you gave, if you are saying your child is a matlakal, the way you gave, if you are saying your child is a matlakal, then when the man who said the child's name is Dikal, then when the man who said the child's name is Dikelate, you know, Dikelate. You know, you say the child is a Rome, the name that you give. You say the child is a Rome, the name that you give your child. Talks about give your child. Talks about it so that we remove ourselves from being an unhappy, so that we remove ourselves from being an unhappy Geluk style. You know, so you'll be Geluk style. You know, so you'll pardon me. Many will pardon me. Many are
being here and Mina, my name is Simpiwe Dladla from Mikulumani. Mina, my name is Simpiwe Dladla from Mikulumani Matota. Economy growth, right? Matota. Economy growth, right? So we are facing a challenge of all these foreigners that are owning the Spicer shops. Foreigners that are owning the Spicer shops, and now they even have shops. And now they even have of Gauteng. What strategies have you Gauteng? What strategies have you given the people here of developing the people here of develop? It's just a question. And again, I would like I'm deeply hurt. I'm deeply hurt and I'm touched. Most of the time, everybody that is being, and even a boy child when they grow up, they will grow up only saying that. They will grow up only saying that the only things that are given are what? The only things that are given are what? Strategy are we putting in place for those? Strategy are we putting in place for those? To also grow up and saying, you know what, a man is supposed to also work. Deeply touched, but you only find the two in Ekurhuleni harvest from it. And the GDE, you touched base on Katlehong suppliers, and then there were suppliers. Why is it here from Katlehong? But instead of benefiting within the community from here in Katlehong can also have jobs. And Katoras in a whole. Jobs that are more closer to where they distribute. The construction too, 424. And for the construction, my question is, where employed in construction South Africans? So that they can also have a greater future. Not only that, the construction work rest. But now, here's my worry.
Now you are telling us about Ford. How many branches does the Tshwane Auto members? Lastly, what model of a car have they created?
Bagay. X3. Piece to piece. You must go to China, HOD. Trip to China 2 weeks ago. They took us to a factory. Yadukoloi, the car. Beautiful car. Chinese brand is coming, factory. When we entered, the weightiness of the car. Almost like a Range Rover. Beautiful. In a day. So in our country, maybe the automotive hub would be Habayeti A to Z. Parts of the BMW X3 are there, but there are parts that still come from Germany. 20% of the BMW X3 is done Kuchwan. Even because of our issues internationally, it's losing business, a problem. So, but then I hear you, let's emulate China. We have sister agreement with China. If they can build 2,000 cars a day, why can't we do it? Then I think if it comes here, because I could trade in my car for that one. Number 10. We are done. Number 10, 11, 12, then we are done. 11, 12, abatemo.
Lina laka ke nna Tebogo, ke tswa Ward 42. A directive only. So now, ke rana company school, from the crèches and the we try to run that company, but Rebecca get the funds. So now we try to allocate the smaller price in China. So now we didn't manage because other schools that come from Limpopo. How stock a bundle, ya chup ko Max Steel, is too much expensive. So now when that product, my narrate from there's a EWC, more box bag. So now we didn't manage when we buy in bulk. So which means how regular 8,000 pipe tube is how well you're facing the problem.
Okay.
Where we can apply your more community, remove.
If you guys can be able to assist him, I'm sending him to you. Ne? So, Kwakomra, GEP. Number 11. Kiri scratch it. Ma ke feta ke scratch. Okay. Number 9 ke mangwena. Ah.
Board. Sometimes when I learn to this, how swipe the drinks that how to complain. Because they add extra 10 rands. A price of a beer is okay. To the bank, I've got an agreement.
It's a bank charge.
To the liquor board or to the bank. Sure, for a digital economy, do you have an information knowledge about it? If you could, please brief us and direct us.
Thank you, Manes. Number 11.
Sanibonani.
Mara nna ke nna chairman ya meeting, why le swap ke sa re le swap?
Ndibonge na kwitshwane kwi-report ebebesinikeza. I hope nje ya esebenzisana nama SMEs la ekuruleni, especially Jimiston. Umbuzo wami kuma buildings ayi3 athi indlela yokukiwa kwemali kumasipala asiyazi bakwenzeka ntoni.
Usitshelile ukuthi ubani igama lakho?
Umasono abenikani.
and responsibility.
Angithi sicela
Ah,
nisidlulisele leyo
awabona
report,
masi
sicela
sizosebenza
ukwazi.
so ngeke sizwane. That we can say. Sizobabuza ukuthi kwenzakalani ngalama building.
Kune mismanagement of funds kuloma properties. That because the property angeke yakhiwe more than 20. So I think we're going to write it down and go and confirm kumuntu in charge ukuthi kwenzakalani ngaleyo building. That because someone must account.
All right.
Someone must account kwimali zomphakathi.
Okay, Papa.
And the main contractor is been paid. So ngawo loma properties sifuna ukuthi nisfind that.
Puti, can you write those buildings and give them to us? Le ukuthi we know ukuthi they are corrupt, ayasas. You go MEC ukuthi ayobuza yena. Bese simana ama answers.
Everyone, greetings to the portfolio committee, community members and the house at large. Presentation. How are facing, but mine is that what is the GEP? You find a lot of SMMEs, they cry, saying that there's give clarity and maybe also to assist, because I think one of the speakers asked here criteria. So I think from your side, can you maybe, with regards to the grant facility, state or say that what are some of the things which lead to applications from the SMMEs to fail? Maybe then we will assist. The Gauteng Development Agency, we spoke of a lot of opportunities, but then now, how do community members access those opportunities? I think also, Honorable Mfekwa, an issue, communication, how now departments send messages across to community members, because community members do not get access to information. So maybe it's something that departments should also look into. With Tshwane Automotive Special Economic Zone, you did indicate that you mainly in Tshwane, but you do have specific areas in Ekurhuleni. Can you kindly state those areas? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are done with our questions. HOD, I'm going to ask you to lead the department. If we could also be summarized, let's not reopen the presentations again. I have picked up an issue about compliance. So there would be a need to have compliance workshops that would be inclusive of all our agencies. Then we are able to come here. We always encourage that after these sessions, we picked up needs for workshops. Always encourage the entities, the team that has always been with us, HOD, before you joined, they will tell you that we do ask that can we come back and educate communities. And we have gotten feedback in some of our communities that the workshops has happened. The department does do workshops. I know this week, if not last week, there was a workshop on SMME development, SMME empowerment. I guess what we need, HOD, is to send messages through MMCs so that they can inform their respective communities as well. The portfolio committee has raised the issue of taverns that they are closing at 2 o'clock in the morning. We have raised it with the gambling board when we went to them. And we have asked them to relook at the approval point, because the community is correct. You can't have a tavern ebulanga 6 2 or 3 a.m. We can't. You know, and we are saying we want our young people to focus on their studies. You know, especially taverns that are existing within our communities, you know. So we are going to ask that as tavern associations, please work with the government on this one, because we must protect these young people, including the point that was raised, gambling liquor board, of taverns that are existing in our spaza shops. And we need to look at that as well. Because as long as we have laws that are saying you don't sell to children that are younger than 18, but that doesn't mean that you need to sell to them. They can be exposed as well to alcohol. So as we correct, I know there's a move that was reported that we are looking at reviewing the Liquor Board Act and regulations. Some of these issues we must be able to take into consideration when we are reviewing our acts. Collision is illegal. It's one of the construction mafias. Ke botsotsi. But we are active participants in the collision, in the construction mafias. We are even active participants in foreigners owning spaza shops, because they have spaza shops in our yards. Their spaza shops are in our yards. You know? Then when they mess us up, we want government to take responsibility. When they came and they have an agreement with the owner of the house. So as much as government is moving into regulating spaza shops, we must assist government by not hiring out our outside rooms, our houses, to the foreigners for them to run these spaza shops. I mean, it's like foreigners that are owning RDP houses. We sell to them. It's us who sells to them, because no foreigner can get an RDP house in our country. But it's us who sell to them. Then we leave, we go back to the sheikhs, and we complain about foreigners occupying RDP houses. So some of these things we need to correct. Government has a program of regulating spaza shops right now. It's us who are fronting for foreigners. We register on their behalf. Yes. We've had South Africans arrested because they were found. They are coming to the offices of the municipality to register spaza shops. I mean, my name is Matsiliso Mfikwe. How do I come and register an Abdul spaza shop? I must register Matsiliso Mfikwe spaza shop. But you come and you register an Abdul spaza shop. Then when you ask questions, you don't know how to answer. So it's us who are assisting them to do wrong things. So let us also reach before we blame government, let us also fix ourselves so that government can do what is right. And we must enable government to do what is right, not enable criminality, because we want to benefit as well. So we must look at the spaza shops. We must look at collision. There's no need that somebody will come to you. You are a corrupt, Amos. You are a corrupt. So how do we deal with the corruptee when you are the corrupt? Because when they want cold drink and burrito or on ice cream and you give them, then do you think they will change? By the way, cold drink, you go and 2 rand. I see that 20 rand. Then City gives them the 20 rands, they then dump you. So we must not also be abating wrong things. If somebody got department in comes and says, no, we'll approve your lease, but you must figure the cold drink, you must say to them, I'm going to look for the MEC. And you must go and look for the MEC. And say to the MEC, Matsiliso, I came here on this day, on this time, and this is what she said to me. So that we are able to deal with wrongness in the system. Right, tools are wrongness because we want to benefit. Then when the highest bidder comes and they drop you, then it's a problem. You want all of us to come in. So we must fight against corruption and not point fingers at corruption. Because when a person comes and says, that is corruption. That is corruption. Then you want to blame us politicians for corruption when you've never been spoken to us about a license. You know? Then you don't leave the person that is corrupt. You fight with politicians as if we had enabled it. So when we clean up a system, let us hold hands. As communities, we must play your part so that we are able to play our part. Ours is to laws and regulations. The administration must implement. The community must help in that implementation. But if you enable criminality as communities, those laws and acts and regulations that we've done, they are now useless. So I'm asking, let us not agree. When somebody comes and says, I will help you, but I don't want to say that word, but you get what I want, where I want to go. Because then we must stop corruption ourselves. Again, HOD, don't restart the process of presentations, response to answers. Those answers that your team can't, we will write them down. We will find a way of bringing to the community again. Thank you very much for the questions. We are not asking any more questions. Ne? The stalls are there. Those of you who are interested in the work of the different entities, please, before you leave, pass by there. They have pamphlets, as I said. They will share with you the pamphlets for you to have information going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member Mfikwe, for helping us to facilitate the session. Let me also take this opportunity to thank the community for asking us these tough questions, because I think you are helping our intervention to be more focused and effective going forward. So ours is to help to grow the economy, create jobs, make sure that poverty is a thing of the past. So today, Chair, I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to ask the team to respond to the questions in the order that I will outline now, then I'll close the gaps. Because members here have directed questions to specific people. So I'm going to ask Mr. Ndaba to respond to the question relevant to him, and he will be followed by Nosipo from GLB. After GLB, we'll have Gambling Board, then Gauteng Tourism Agency, Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, Itumeleng from GGDA, and the last one will be TESAS. If there are any gaps, I will definitely close them. But where, Chair, there are further gaps, we will come back to the community to give them answers. But we will do our best to address all of them. Mr. Ndaba.
No, thank you so much, HOD, and I thank you for the questions. A few questions have been directed straight to Sfiso Ndaba. So the one on compliance, I think it's a golden thread. Most of the questions are speaking to issues of compliance. I think maybe before I make an attempt to answer these questions, I must request that the community, if they can check, especially on Facebook, the economic development page, as well as Gauteng Provincial Treasury page. Every week we host workshops. Zweli will just correct me, I think it's a Wednesday, where we deal with issues of compliance. This was very important for the department because when we are assessing RFQs, the request for quotations, or we're assessing tenders, we look for, firstly, the compliance before we check if you can do the work. Now, most of SMMEs, especially township-based SMMEs, regrettably, fail at the level of compliance before we even go to competence. Therefore, there was a need for this intervention to say, let's support non-financially the SMME so that they are compliant. By the time they respond to RFQs, they are capacitated with issues such as tax clearance. They know what is that and what does it entail. Triple BE certification, what is that and what does it entail, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought it's important that I just talk about that. And of course, GEP, HOD will also add some of the products and packages that they have in as far as non-financial support is concerned. And also, maybe the Consumer Affairs might also want to add the issue of Kondisi Shishini Lako, where we go out to communities and help SMMEs to put compliance so that they'll be able to take advantage of opportunities in the public sector procurement space. Another question that I wanted to quickly answer is the one on the targets that were not met. So we have governance structures in the department. So a senior management team, we present performance, and the expectation is that a program manager responsible for those targets must come up with mitigating measures on what it is that we're going to do to try and make sure that by end of the year, we achieve the target that is behind. and that is tracked quarterly as well. But I also want to link that with our performance contracts as government officials, just to indicate that as a public servant, my contract is linked to those targets. So my progression is linked to that. So it's important that what I said I'm going to do, what I've committed to, in terms of the contract, I'll be able to implement those. So I'm held personally liable when it comes to, accountable when it comes to that. HOD, allow me to lastly answer the question around, question on people with disability. Community, that target has been a problem. So before I used to work for the Office of the Premier, and we always struggled with this. Then at some point, I think it was in the 6th administration chair, there was an FIS study that was done by legislature, where one of the root causes that were determined by the report was that this is one sector that is unfortunately supplying low commodity, what is it called, low value commodities. Now, the department expenditure, take any department, you find that the highest expenditure there will be leasing the building, what we pay in terms of rates and taxes, sorry, not rates and taxes, rental, the procurement of laptops, the services around Microsoft, for example. Now, those are services that the department needs to operate. So how do you in the value chain find a way of bringing this targeted sector so that they're also able to benefit in those type of services that are typically procured by departments? Because catering, we are procuring catering, but I'll tell you now, it's not making a dent in terms of the target of 7% for provincial, as well as the target of 5% for national. So those are just the things that we are grappling with, but I'm hoping that the department, as we continue to engage, as we're engaging with communities, will be able to come up with innovative ways, including working with chambers, working with associations that are working with people with disability, so that they come forth and we can then develop a list of suppliers that we can able to go to. If we want to procure a laptop, we know where to find. And those people must be compliant so that we're able to give them businesses as a department. Let me pause here, HOD.
Thank you, Mr. Ndaba. Colleagues, can we try to be brief and to the point? So if we can have Gauteng Liquor Board. Maybe if we can get the mic.
Dumelang bagolo. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, HOD. My name is Nozipho Mkhwanazi, and I'm from the Gauteng Liquor Board under the Client Relations Management Unit. I think I'm just going to answer a few of the questions and the issues that have been raised. The issue of the liquor wardens. Can I just explain? The liquor wardens was a project that were instructed by the Premier in support of ensuring that there is compliance in our communities, meaning that liquor wardens are not they're not enforcers of the Liquor Act, but what they do in the communities is that they go around and ensure that if there's any non-compliance, for example, if honale pleke eriksang bujwala for banaba under the age of 18, if ahukwale kanako in the outlets, what they would do is to ensure that they escalate all those matters. So to explain why we have liquor wardens is also to try and bridge the gap of having very few. Currently, right now, yes, Babunjanga said, indicated that there is an issue when it comes to the capacity of ship A2. We see that after 6, 7, so we are having to bridge that gap with the working hours. So the thing is, and Kempton Park. But because we are having another second car, Bujwala, Any person, my team is there. Kenale Ausmalifu at the back. Bourgeois. Any person, my team is there. Kenale Ausmalifu at the back. Can you wave? She's there at the back. She's responsible for the Ekurhuleni region, 5 rand and whatnot. Unfortunately, that is not our rand and whatnot. Unfortunately, that is not our space. But in terms of collaborating with the Liquor Board to implement, to implement the act, because we cannot work outside each other. We need to collaborate.
Makaya for Leo machine. And then question 2 was, why did we not achieve as a department for
Thank you, HOD. I think
department for
Thank you, HOD. I think the question just I just want to clarify is that
Thing after this,
the question just I just want to clarify is that
thing after this, you can still talk to us.
On our SMME mentoring and coaching
to us.
On our SMME mentoring and coaching programs. On our SMME mentoring and coaching program. I think that was about it.
Just few things from my side. All entrepreneurs or prospective entrepreneurs in all 5 corridors of the province. Focused and dedicated manner so that we are able to have more successful businesses in the province. There's a colleague here, I'll call you a colleague because, textile is one of the most important sectors in our plan. So, to leave his phone number with us because we've got a dedicated task. The last point that I wanted to raise that you can get from us. The last point, share but not the least, the last point, share but not the least, that I think I must mention. A digital economy is a very important sector. It's getting big.